So here we are discussing chapters 7 through 12 of Let's Explore Diabetes with Owls by David Sedaris. I always forget the name of the book. It's not a good thing. First though, I do want to speak towards some of the comments from the previous set of chapters, and I'm gonna set the book down so I stop shaking it in your face. I read your comments every week, and there have been a couple mentions about how discussions of race and gay issues in some of the essays have made people cringe, and then I think someone mentioned Sedaris sounded really privileged in the first set of chapters. And I'm totally not going to defend him. You are more than entitled to think those things. There have been several parts where I have cringed and I have thought, is that an okay thing to say? But I do think there is a lot to be said for telling a story honestly, and honestly saying what you were thinking at the time, both right and wrong, and that lends to the author's credibility. I know that when I write and when I make videos, I sometimes stress about how people are going to interpret some of the things that I say if I speak 100% honestly about a variety of things, but I also do not generally get very serious in these videos. I have videos about roadkill. And I also think we have to remember that we are reading this book in 2014, and many of us only have the lens of being a couple decades old, when some of the things being written about are several decades old. I don't want to say David Sedaris is old, but the things being written about happened during more segregated times or times where there were more homophobic feelings. But I do want to make it clear that that in no way excuses the things that people were thinking at those times or the people who thought those things. But I would rather hear about these situations honestly rather than being lied to or having them sugar-coated so that I can better understand the situations regardless of my own feelings towards the subject. Kind of like I do not want to open a history book and have it just full of lies to make the country that I'm living in sound really good, although it can be argued that a lot of history books do that. And I think it's really great to have strong feelings about this book. I think that that helps us understand the past better and to learn from it. So yes, really awesome comments about all that. Keep them coming. I know that I cannot address every little thing in every little section that we're going to be reading, and that's simply because of time constraints, so I tend to focus on my favorite parts. But by all means, keep the discussion going. That is what this is all about. I am just excited there are some intelligent people reading this book along with me. So, moving forward to chapters 7 through 12, I liked these essays, this set of essays, a lot more than I liked the first set of essays. And I made a note that there was even talk about roadkill in the Kookaburra chapter, and if you've seen my personal channel, I've got the roadkill hunting video. I love roadkill because I'm from Arkansas, so that obviously really spoke to me. But I'm gonna go straight to my favorite chapter because there were some lines in it that really hit me, and that was the essay called Standing Still. There was a really great analysis of victim blaming in this chapter, but what I liked about it so much was that David Sedaris was around my age in this essay, and he said some things that I could really relate to about being afraid to move on. I think my favorite quote was on page 115 where he said, "A person needed savings in order to move, but more than that, he needed gumption." Do you want the knife back, David Sedaris, or should I just leave it in my heart? And then I also enjoyed the part in A Guy Walks Into a Bar Car where Sedaris compared the connection to the man on the train to instant oatmeal, which I thought was really clever. However, like last week, I did not really care for the fictional monologues again, and there were 2 of them this week. I totally understood the irony, and I totally understood the humor in the narrator's words, especially in the If I Ruled the World chapter, but these fictional monologue chapters still just feel empty to me by comparison of the really personal stories that are surrounding them. Or maybe these are personal to David Sedaris in some way, and it's just completely going over my head. So next week, we will be reading the next 7 chapters from author to the healthcare freedoms chapter, so get on it. Also this week, let me know what you thought of these 6 chapters and whether or not you are enjoying the book as well. And also, I definitely still want to know what you guys are thinking about those separate monologue chapters. And in the final review video, I will be reading and responding to some of your comments in that video. You said video one too many times. Also, I'm gonna start putting a list of the future books we will be reading in the description so that you can go ahead and check them, reserve them in the library, check them out, or purchase them if that's what you wanna do. So read it for next week, and I will see you guys Wednesday.